All right, today we are digging into a pretty controversial idea about building wealth. I mean, forget everything you've probably heard about slow, steady investing. We're going to look at a blueprint for people starting with basically zero who want to make a truly life-changing amount of money and do it fast. So, let's just cut right to the chase with a question that kind of flips most financial advice on its head. If you had a spare $1,000 right now, what would you do? The common answer is, put it in an index fund. But is that actually the smart move? Well, the answer here is a pretty shocking yes. For the vast majority of people, especially if you're just starting out, investing that $1,000 in stocks is actually a huge mistake. And we're about to break down exactly why that is. And that brings us to our first major point. This idea that traditional investing advice, it's a game designed for rich people. And if you're not rich, playing by their rules is a trap. Okay, so let's get into this. The advice you always hear, diversify your portfolio, buy S&P 500 index funds, think long-term, it's brilliant advice if you already have millions of dollars. That entire strategy is built to preserve wealth and let it grow at a nice, safe, slow pace. It's not designed to create that wealth from scratch. Let's put some real numbers on this. Say you invested $1,000 in the S&P 500 5 years ago. And remember, that was a fantastic period for the market. You'd have about $1,700 today. Now, that's a great return, percentage-wise. But really, is an extra $700 over 5 whole years going to change your life? For almost everyone, nope, not even close. And this just nails the core argument perfectly. Those safe, defensive investment moves, that's how you protect a fortune you already have. It is absolutely not the way you build that fortune in the first place. So if that doesn't work, what does? Well, this brings us to a really powerful way to think about all this. We can frame it like a football game, where there are two totally different ways to play. So it breaks down into these two philosophies. On one side, you've got defense. The goal here is simple: stay rich. You do that by protecting what you have with slow, steady stuff like the S&P 500. But on the other side, you've got offense. And the goal here is to get rich. That means you need a completely different playbook, one focused on taking smart risks and scoring points fast. And the number one example? Investing in yourself. And this is the key right here. If your team is losing and you have 0 points, you don't play defense. You go on offense. You try to score. It's the same thing with money. If you don't have a lot of capital, you have nothing to defend. Your only priority has to be scoring financial points, not protecting the few you have.
Okay, so if playing defense with traditional investing is the wrong move, what does playing offense actually look like? This is where the whole strategy pivots to something completely different.
See, offensive investing isn't about picking some risky crypto coin and hoping it goes to the moon. No, it's about taking your capital, that first $1,000, and investing it in yourself. You use it for education, to learn skills that can radically, dramatically increase how much money you earn every single month. I mean, the potential returns here are they're on another planet. We're talking about examples of people spending as little as $37 on a course to learn a skill and turning that into an income of over $10,000 a month. That's a 270x return on their money. And they did it in less than a year, based on skill, not on luck. Compare that to the S&P 500, it's not even a contest. And just to be super clear, we are not just talking about buying some online course about digital marketing. This idea applies everywhere. Getting a plumber's license, a real estate license, a personal trainer certification. These are all forms of offensive investing. You're using a little bit of money to unlock a way higher earning potential out in the real world. Now, this next part is where the strategy goes from being just powerful to being truly exponential. We've all heard about compound interest, right? Well, there's a way to basically hack that whole process and compound your income instead of just your money. This is a huge mental shift. Instead of waiting decades for your money to double in the stock market, this strategy is all about skill stacking. You layer one valuable skill on top of another, and here's the magic. Each new skill doesn't just add to your income, it actually multiplies it. Let's walk through an example. So meet John. He starts out making 20 grand a year. First, he invests in himself and learns copywriting. Boom, his income shoots up to $70,000. But he doesn't stop. Next, he learns how to manage a team. That lets him scale his work, and it doubles his income to $140,000. Then he stacks on client acquisition skills, doubles it again to $280,000. Finally, he masters personal branding, and just like that, he's at $1 million a year. Every single layer made the previous ones more valuable. So all of this, it really boils down to one powerful central philosophy about where you should be putting all of your focus and your first dollars. Sure, stocks are an asset, real estate is an asset, a fancy watch can be an asset, they all have value, but when you are building from the ground up, there is one asset that has more potential, more power than all the others combined. And this quote from Jay-Z just says it all. The ultimate asset is you. You aren't a businessman. You are a business. You're the whole company. You are the golden goose that lays the golden eggs. Other assets can be bought and sold, but your ability to learn and generate income, that is the true engine of wealth. And that's where the first investment has to go. So we'll leave you with this last really important question to think about. Forget the stock market for a minute. Forget all that. What is the one single skill you could learn in the next 12 months that could predictably double what you earn? Because according to this blueprint, finding the answer to that question, that is the real first step on the path to $1 million.